All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the JT Dodgers podcast. Today we have a very special guest. We have LA Sports Wave or Ethan. Ethan, how you doing today, man?
Are we live?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're live.
All
All
right.
right, Kike.
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited. I just want to say thank you for coming on the show today. I really appreciate it. I've been following you on TikTok for 4 or 5 years now. It's been a minute, so I appreciate you coming on, and I'm excited.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, and I appreciate that support as well.
Of course.
It's been fun with TikTok and like kind of been on and off with that, but starting back this season, I've been in the full swing of things there again. So it's
Yeah.
been a nice little time over there.
Yeah, you've reached over 85,000, I believe, on TikTok.
Yeah, it's been a good start to the season. It's at 86 right now, but it kind of got hard to keep up with when I got to college, but I've figured out the new routine and rhythm with pumping out content again, so that's been nice.
Yeah, and I see your posts on Instagram as well. Does that upload at the same time? Is that easier for you, or does it like
Uh, yeah, Instagram's a little bit of a different game. I've been talking to a couple people who have grown pages and kind of getting digital strategies from them, kind of how the whole game over there works. And what I've heard most is it's a little bit inconsistent. And what I've started doing though is just whatever I throw on TikTok, I'll immediately upload as a reel. So if that's the TV videos I've been doing for a long time, or just like breaking down something going on in a game, I'll immediately try and throw it up on there. And what I've noticed too, honestly, anybody who's listening to this trying to grow on Instagram or doing any of that, the more personal you are, the more you show your face, the more you talk. You might be getting lower views to start out, but what I've noticed is the follower rate is significantly better. Like I've had a 2,000 viewed reel that had a better follower rate than a 20,000 viewed reel,
wow?
just from talking and being a lot more personal because you're sticking out a lot more on the feed than the algorithms rather than when people are swiping, they're going to see a highlight reel and they're going to go see 10 more highlight reels after that. But if they see your face, hear your voice, they're able to connect with the thing on their screen significantly better. And honestly, that just doesn't go for Instagram. That goes for TikTok as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. What made you originally want to start this account? I know you love the Dodgers, but is there a specific reason that made you want to become a content creator?
Uh, I just grew up watching a lot of people. Fuzzy was one of them. Kevin God, especially during the pandemic, we're all stuck at home. So I was consuming twice as much baseball content, twice as much social media content in general. I became a full-time doom scroller and
Right.
it wasn't a healthy habit, but it came down to a thing where around that time is when I stopped. Oh, hold on, my phone fell.
You're good.
Um, Let me put this on do not disturb real quick. Um, okay. So it just kind of became more of I was spending a lot more time on social media. I wasn't playing baseball anymore, and a lot of my friends and family too were just like, you still love baseball. Find something else to do with it. So I started posting on TikTok and just growing up in Texas, there's not a lot of Dodger fans out there, so I wanted to build a community that I could go and talk with and you know, we all love the Dodgers. So
Right.
it's it's a great space to connect with people online and I always talk to my grandpa about baseball and connected with him in that way. So I was able to use that and take it onto the internet and start building something with that. And I've had a fun time with it.
Yeah, that's awesome. How long did you play baseball for?
I started playing when I was 7 years old in about second grade up until my sophomore year of high school.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. Do you play high school?
No,
Like,
I didn't make it past there.
yeah, that's fair.
So
Um,
that's just wanted to start doing something else with baseball, and that's what led me onto social media.
right. I know you grew up or you're in Texas right now. Um, were you able to go to any of the games in 2020 when they were playing in Texas?
No, I wasn't.
Uh,
Those were hard to get a hold of, and also just travel restrictions and still have to go stay in a hotel room. It just wasn't. if you can make it happen, great. But it was a harder time, and I think the tickets were pretty competitive to get as well, and they were still World Series tickets. They're
Right,
expensive.
right.
So that was a whole other thing to deal with. But and like you could only get them, you had to buy them in groups of four.
Oh, okay.
You couldn't, I don't think you could individually go and buy a ticket. You had to, because it was like separated in groups. So you had to find a group of people to go to the game with.
Okay. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. I know it also must have been hard because there was, what, 20% of the normal amount of tickets available. You go to Dodger Stadium for a World Series game, there's 50 something thousand tickets available. In the bubble or whatever you want to call it, there were significantly less tickets available, so I'm sure it was very difficult. But yeah, so I see as you can see, I have my jerseys hanging up in the background. I got Puig, I got Otani, I got Freddie. Who are your top five? I know you're number one, but who are your top five favorite Dodgers of all time?
Um, when are we going like best or my just favorites?
Just your favorites.
Okay. Number five. Hmm, that's a tough one. Hmm. I'm gonna go with Justin Turner.
Okay, I
You
like
can't
that.
the 2010 Dodgers, specifically 2016 up until 2022. When you think of the Los Angeles Dodgers, that's the first name I think of, besides another
Yeah,
guy on this list. But
right.
that guy was the heart and soul of the team. I hope he comes back as a coach someday, and I'm sure he wants to. But that guy was the face of Los Angeles. I also have a nice, like, personal backstory with him. Not, I wasn't connected with him, but my grandparents owned a flower shop in Long Beach, which
Okay,
is where he's from. And when he was just a little kid, watching the 1988 Dodgers, that 80s Dodgers teams, he was a customer at my grandparents' shop, and his parents were. So
that's awesome.
my grandpa, we were at a game in 2017, and he turns to me and he's like, "You see that guy hitting right there, Justin Turner? I've known him since he was a 6-year-old."
That's awesome. That's so
So
sick.
Justin Turner definitely has more of like a place for me, and him not being on my top five would be insane. I think he's going to always be on my top five. It doesn't
Right.
matter who else plays. I mean, it's crazy enough for me to say, but even like I don't even have Shohei Ohtani on my top five favorite Dodgers right now.
Yeah.
That's it's more of a I have more loyalty to other guys that are on the team. I like Chris Taylor better than Shohei Ohtani right now, and
Wow.
that's out of as much as I like to shit on him and make fun of him.
Right.
That's I've spent 8 years rooting for the guy. I've only been rooting for Ohtani for 1 year.
Yeah, you could never make me hate Chris Taylor, especially
No,
after the 2021 season he had. He was an all-star, the walk-off against St. Louis. That was a great season for him. You can never make me hate him, even if he's batting, under 100. I'll
yeah,
always
and
I'll
on
always have
top of
respect
that,
for him. Yeah.
on top of that, I like rooting. I like rooting for the underdog players. Like people were
Yeah.
shitting on Landon Knack yesterday, but I'm like, I'm a Landon Knack fan now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I get that.
but yeah, I got Justin Turner at five. Number four is one of the players that, like, my first ever favorite player was Matt Kemp,
Okay. I like that.
and he's just classic player.
Yeah.
But
My favorite outfield ever, and I don't think this will ever change, Kemp, Ethier, and Puig. Was just
those were the
that was
days.
yeah, those were the
The
days. That's
the
right.
new the new fans don't have they never they'll never get to understand what like we had with that growing up, and
Yeah.
it was a special time. But that brings me into number three, Puig.
Yeah. I
Um, special player.
very I hate that he fell off the face of the planet after he wasn't a Dodger anymore. When he was with Cleveland and Cincinnati, after that, it was just I remember he signed with Atlanta for 2020 and then he didn't play because of COVID and that was it for him. It was a shame that he had such a short career, but I remember I mean you can tell this story better than me of course, but I remember seeing in your comments section you saying something about your grandfather saying something about Puig uh,
Yeah,
no, him never seeing a better player in the outfield than him, some along those lines, right?
Yeah, that same season, 2017, we were at that game, and he says, "I've never seen anybody play right field better for the Dodgers, or with more energy, versatility than Yasiel Puig."
He was so fun to watch. I miss him. I miss him a lot. I I will always remember his first few weeks, those iconic weeks that he had where he was just going off. And Vince Scully was still our announcer, and he had so many great calls over his home runs. It was iconic. And just like you, I'll always love Puig no matter what.
Yeah, it was a special time.
It was. And who do you have at number two on your list?
Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah, that's my number one. He's my boy. Absolutely.
Also honorable mention at number 6 is Corey Seager.
Okay. Okay. I like that.
The only reason I don't have him in the top 5 is just because their other players had more of a impact on me for. You know what? Hold up. Yeah, okay, we're keeping him at 6.
Okay.
I have more of Corey Seager memories. The reason I'm gonna have Matt Kemp at this top 5 though is because it was one of my first favorite players.
Right.
But I have more of a found memory. I have much better like recent memories of Corey Seager. I mean, he got us our World Series title in 2020, and
Yeah.
I mean, I was not even I was barely 10 years old when Matt Kemp got traded. So
Yeah.
it's just it's not as big of a baseball memory, but it's one of my early core baseball memories.
Right.
But I don't think I need to go much in depth on Clayton Kershaw, but
Yeah.
he's the greatest player to ever put on a Dodger uniform. I don't think anybody can
Yeah.
debate that anymore.
I don't think it's debatable at all.
I think he's a top 5 pitcher of all time. I got 20 hours to debate that if somebody wants to argue with me on it, but
Yeah.
if he gets 3,000 strikeouts, I'm having him top 3.
Yeah. And he's
Um,
probably gonna do it unless, he gets unfortunately, I think the only way he wouldn't get it is if he comes back at some point this year and gets hurt again and then retires at the end of the year. I think that's the only way he wouldn't get it.
which
But
on that note, I do think it's his last season. I think he's only around still for veteran leadership with how many young guys they have on that roster, especially with the pitching staff that's coming up. But I don't he knows it too. He knows he's a bench merchant at this point. I mean, you can see it. The dude's turned into got a dad body now. Like he knows his
yeah.
playing days are done. Uh, but Kershaw is also on that note. I don't think he's as big of an October choker as people make him out to be.
Not at all.
I could. That is something I could talk about for hours. He's been in a lot of very unlucky situations and also been left in the game for way too long because he's their guy. He puts the team on his back shoulder. And playoff baseball and what you've seen in very, very recently is as soon as a pitcher gets into trouble, they're getting smacked out of the game, taken out
Yeah.
instead of bullied around for a couple innings. And you see that and I think also on top of that, you are one of the greatest pitchers in the league going into the postseason. This isn't just Kershaw. I mean, we've seen this with Max Scherzer, a couple other guys. You're a great pitcher, but you're also going against the best of the best. It's not the regular season anymore. You're gonna have a bad you're most likely to have a bad game at least once in the postseason. It might not be a blow up start, but there's gonna be a start where you're gonna allow 3 runs in a couple innings in the postseason. It's happened to Garrett Cole, Scherzer, Kershaw. You go and watch the 2019 World Series. That Astros pitching staff got shelled.
Yeah. And
Verlander's had his share of terrible starts, but Kershaw, his bad starts have been so horrendous that they've overlooked what he's actually been able to accomplish as a postseason pitcher. And I think he's had more good starts than bad starts. If
yeah,
you really go and look at it and analyze it, it's far better than what he's gotten credit for.
he started game 5 in 2020 and the series was tied and he threw a great game. We ended up winning the game and we ended up winning the series the next game. So people, skip right over that. But then, he has his moments, against the 2017 Astros in game 5, which they knew what was coming. But people don't want to talk about that. They just want to talk about how, oh, he gave up this amount of runs and, he blew this lead. the hate that he gets for his postseason performance is, I'm not saying he's, the greatest postseason pitcher of all time, but he gets way more hate than he deserves. So I 1000% agree with you on that. He's always been my favorite player. I used to be a pitcher when I played baseball, and even though I threw right-handed, I would always do his wind up, the whole like leg kick thing. So he was always my favorite player. So I'll uh I'll always have respect for him no matter what. So I'm on the same page as you with that.
Yeah, for
Um
sure.
I don't think we need to get into too much detail, or I don't think it's too hard to guess who your number one is, Ethan.
Uh, it might be kind of hard to guess.
I think it's Max Muncy, right?
Nah, right now, he might be my favorite Dodger, but
Really? Oh, I was being sarcastic. I thought you weren't a big Max Muncy guy.
no, it's all jokes.
Okay,
No,
okay.
I love Max Muncy or Munchie, but
Yeah.
it's like no, it's all satire. If you ever see me yelling at him on the internet, it's any player like that that I yell out. It's literally like it's the same thing with Cody. Like it's a player we've had that's had so many successful moments and time periods with the team, and they're not looking the same. So it's just I want to see what I grew up with. I want to see them have one final get a run at it, but. Yeah, on that note, I'm a big Cody Bellinger fan, if y'all didn't know.
Yeah.
He's my favorite player, still my favorite MLB player. And yeah, there's just something about it. It was more than just him as a player. Like he has one of the funniest personalities in baseball. And I know he says he is the lazy eye. You can look at him in the Little League World Series.
Yeah.
He's full of shit. Like he might be that might be right for the games, but I'm telling you that dude off the field is a massive pothead, and you cannot tell me otherwise. He gives off that personality. I mean, in that interview in 2020, they're like, "Hey, like, what have you been doing?" He goes, "Oh, I've been playing so much Call of Duty." Someone who doesn't have a weed brain is not going to say that. So
Yeah.
he's he gives off the vibe, and it's a very funny personality that I think we needed in baseball, and it's been very fun to see. And I think we're getting a lot more exposure to players like that who just aren't afraid to be themselves and just be silly. I think we're watching a pretty great era of baseball right now that we're going to look back on in 5 years and really appreciate. And I think on that note too, we're entering a renaissance period with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been Cody's. It doesn't matter who else plays in the MLB. It doesn't matter who else plays for the Dodgers. There is never going to be a player I like more than Cody Bellinger. That's just
Yeah.
a placeholder for me now. So
His 2019 season was so special, and it's a disgrace that we didn't win anything that year, because he had the best year he's ever had and ever will have. And his 2019 season's one of the best MVP seasons that I think we've witnessed in our lifetime. And it was so, not only was it a great season, it was so entertaining too, because he was so clutch that year. And I really wish we could have won something in 2019 during his incredible season, but thankfully we won it the year after. So
yeah, and I don't think we've had a better NL besides Otani's 2024. I don't think we've had a better NL MVP season since then.
yeah, yeah.
It's been I can't think of anyone's better. It's been very that dude. How many home runs did he hit again? It was like
So I in 2019, Cody
yeah.
Bellinger. So that's actually one of the
Oh,
trivia questions I have for you.
okay.
So I don't want to spoil it, but it was
Okay.
a lot to say the least. Yeah.
I
So
gotcha. Well, yeah. Big Cody Bellinger fan.
yeah. Speaking of Cody Bellinger, like I just said, I do have some trivia questions for you. If you want to do that, it's just Cody Bellinger trivia. See how
Okay.
see how well you know your favorite player. If you want to get right onto that.
Let's do
Um,
it.
so they tend to get a little harder as they go along. There's some that are hard, and there are some that are pretty simple that I think you'll know.
Yeah,
First one,
before
oh, go ahead.
if I get any of these wrong, people listening, it doesn't matter. You can't say I'm a fake Cody Bellinger fan. I'm the realest Cody Bellinger fan there
Yeah,
probably is. I have all the receipts,
yeah,
but
absolutely. Playing Hotel California in the
yeah,
2021 playoffs.
yeah. That was a time.
Yeah, that was incredible. So we'll get right into it. First question is, what is Cody's dad's name?
Clay.
There you go, 1 for 1. Um, what two teams did Clay play for?
Yankees.
That's correct.
Shit.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. I had to look this up. It's a tough one.
I want to say Arizona.
It is not Arizona. I'll
My
give you
guess
another
with
guess.
that was because he became a firefighter out in Phoenix or Scottsdale area.
Right.
So
Okay.
um
See, the fact that you know that is pretty impressive.
no.
So,
No. Yeah, and he's married to Jennifer Bellinger.
yeah, there you go. So,
Yeah,
I almost made
I'm obsessed with their whole family. His brother's Cole Bellinger.
I almost made that a question. What's his mom's name? But I was like, I don't. That's probably too hard. But I should have asked it. I didn't expect anybody to know that. That's
It's
awesome.
not a hard question for me.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Um, but is it AL or NL?
It is AL.
Uh, ooh, this is tough.
It is tough.
Huh.
This team
This
won a
was
World
after the
Series early 2000s.
they won a World Series early 2000s.
Yes, they did.
Angels?
Yep, it was the
Oh,
Angels.
wait, really?
Yeah, Yankees and
Oh.
Angels he played for. That leads us to the next question. How many combined rings do Cody and Clay have together?
Cody's got one. I want to say three.
That is correct. That is
Okay.
correct. Clay
Cool.
won one with the Yankees, one with the Angels in 2002, and then obviously Cody won one with the Dodgers in 2020. So that's correct. This is another. I think you'll get this pretty easily. Where was Cody born?
Okay.
You kind of mentioned.
It's Scottsdale, right?
Yeah, Scottsdale, Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I was
I wasn't. I know he grew up there, but I wasn't sure because like he was technically born in like New York or something. But
right, right. Yeah, but yeah, he was born and raised Scottsdale, Arizona. I only said it was kind of easy because you had said it like a minute ago.
okay,
When we were talking about it. This might be a tough one. What team did Cody get his first career hit against?
the Giants.
Very good. That's awesome. Let's
It
go.
was in his debut.
Yeah, it
It was an
was.
infield single to the third baseman.
Yeah, that's right. That's awesome. All right. What pitcher did Cody Bellinger hit his first career home run off of? You have options because
Okay.
this would be way too hard if I didn't give you options. Madison Bumgarner, Zach Greinke, Zach Eflin, or James Shields.
Zach Eflin.
Yeah, very good. That's awesome. Let's go. Yeah, Zach Eflin. I think it was.
It was
I
against the Phillies. They hit 3 straight homers to tie the game.
yeah, yeah. That I think it was him, Turner, and Puig, all guys in your top five, and then I think someone else had the base hit to walk it off. I don't remember who it was.
Adrian Gonzalez.
Was it was it
I feel
Aegon?
like an absolute nerd right now for knowing all this. But
No, you're not. You're not a nerd at all. It's awesome.
if anything has to do with Cody Bellinger, I need to start treating school like it's Cody Bellinger because
Yeah,
I would have gone to Harvard at that point. But
yeah. That's great. That's great. Um, what runner? So Cody Bellinger had the go-ahead base hit Game 5 of the NLDS in 2021 against the Giants in the top of the ninth. What player scored on his base hit?
Gavin Lux.
Was it Lux?
Wait, it might have been Turner.
It was Turner. That's
Okay,
who I
no,
have
no.
as that's
Yeah,
who I
okay.
have.
I feel like I don't know what made me think of Gavin Lux. I feel like was he in that game?
He was in that game. I think he
He
might
was
have
a
been on
part there.
base.
There was something a part of the ninth inning. I think he got on base to get Cody up. I don't remember
Yeah.
that actually. I don't remember fully, but I remember Turner.
I remember it because of the call. I remember part of the call was like Justin Turner will score, and that's the only reason I
Yeah,
remember
he
it. So
got
I
hit
was
by
like,
a pitch. He got hit by a pitch to get on base.
yeah, yeah. So that I'll count that as right. You corrected yourself pretty quickly, so that's right. How tall is Cody?
6'4".
Oh my gosh,
Okay,
that's
okay, okay.
that's
I'm a little scared that I knew that one.
that's crazy. Like
That one's a
just
little
like that.
concerning.
That's
Um,
crazy. That's awesome.
okay, I'm a little concerned how much I know now, but
No, that's great. In 2019, Cody hit a walk-off home run against the Diamondbacks. Joe Davis had a great call in which he said, "You
it's
have
Bellinger's turn.
I gave you options. You didn't even need them. That's awesome. It's Bellinger's turn. Yeah, that was a great call. Um, and we have one more. This was the one that was brought up before. How many homers did Cody hit in 2019 as MVP year?
Do I have options?
I can give you options. Yeah. 45.
I'm gonna just cold guess this.
Okay.
49,
Close.
47.
It was 47.
Okay,
It
damn,
was.
damn it. I thought I knew it.
That's still pretty impressive. It only took you two tries. So I'm pretty sure if you don't count that last one, it took you two tries to get. If you don't count that right, I'm pretty sure you got what, 9 out of 10. That's pretty impressive. And there were some hard questions,
That's
like his height. Like you knew exactly his height. That's
I'm a
awesome.
little. I don't know. I don't think I should know that one, but
That's pretty impressive that you know Cody Bellinger's height, and you didn't even take any time to think about it. You were just like, oh, 6'4". Like
mm,
that's pretty sick. That's awesome. One more thing I wanted to do before we wrap this up is you're gonna blind rank these current five Dodgers based on how much you like them. So obviously, I'm sure you've seen this before. You don't know who's coming next. Um, you have to put them 1 through 5. So first
okay.
player, first player is Kike Hernandez.
4,
4. Okay. Andy Pajes.
5.
Okay, not an Andy Pajes guy.
No, I don't think he's fine. I just think that there's gonna be
Right,
3 people better than him.
right. James Outman.
Oh, um, 3.
Yeah. Max Muncy.
You're gonna say someone really like mediocre for the last one, and I know it right now. All right, 2. I can read your
2.
body language here. Yeah.
Okay, and the last one is Mookie.
Yep. There we go.
There you go. So we had Mookie, Muncy, Outman, Kike, Pajes. So that's a pretty solid list.
Yeah, it would have if it wasn't a blind ranking. It would have gone Mookie, Muncy, Kike, Pajes, Outman.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So, yeah, real quick, also recap of the last week of the Dodger season. I think one thing I do want to say, I think some people were definitely overreacting over a little 3-game losing skid, but they lose the season, or not season series. They lose the series in Philly and in Washington. Not a great road trip, but you have any thoughts about any of their games, any moments that stick out to you from this road trip?
Everything's gonna be all right. It was a beat up pitching staff. It's early in the season. This happens a lot. I also the weather was not good. I don't think the
Yeah,
rainy game was one to complain about because Phillies also had to play in the rainy conditions, but
right.
Washington weather was not pleasant. This is the team that plays on the West Coast.
Yeah,
Um, I don't think it had a big factor, but I think it's something to take into consideration. You know, they're traveling around. They also went to the White House Monday. That's a whole other like team thing that their routines got disrupted. And it's the first road trip of the season and an unordinary road trip to say the least.
right.
I think they just need to get back home. They're going to be all right. And I don't think people need to worry about Landon Knack. If you remember, he is the reason Game 4 of the World Series didn't get completely out of control.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think there was a lot more positive than negative that happened. Just some of the negative was a little bit iffy. And I think probably the biggest thing going into this is there's got to be some defensive changes. I don't think Mookie Betts should be the permanent shortstop. Now, I hope I'm wrong.
I
He
agree.
looked a lot better in Wednesday's game.
Yeah,
And I think it's one of those things where you have to make a decision about it right now. You need to let him stay in place, but it needs to be permanent. You don't move him the rest of the season. You got to let him develop and develop, and he's going to be an all-star shortstop by October defensively. Or you move him now, you shift Edmund over to shortstop, and you keep Edmund in right or keep Betts back out in right field. But that's my thing with it.
Yeah,
That dude's the best defensive right fielder in baseball.
100%. And that's why I
Why
think
do
he should be
we
playing right field.
why do we need him at shortstop?
Yeah,
Tommy Edmond, if not, might be a better defensive shortstop than Mookie Betts.
yeah,
And Mookie Betts is a better defensive outfielder than Tommy Edmond.
exactly.
But whatever Dave Roberts decides to do, I'm going to trust. He's the reason he's the Dodgers manager. He's gotten 2 World Series championships. Whatever he thinks is best for the team, I think is going to be best for the team. At the end of the day, he's getting paid whatever something million to go out and manage the ball club, and I am sitting behind the TV critiquing it. So
Yeah,
he's whatever he does is what I trust.
yeah, that's awesome. So, yeah, that was a quick little. Just wanted to recap a little bit what happened the last week. They also swept Atlanta. Shohei walk off homer. That was great. But I think they'll be fine. They still have 10 wins. We're 10-4. We'll be fine. It's not like we're 4-10. So, yeah, thank you so much for coming on today, Ethan. It was a pleasure having you. Good luck with the school and everything you're doing on TikTok and social media and everywhere. I really appreciate you coming on, and you're always welcome here on the JT Dodgers podcast.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me, and good luck growing this podcast. It's been a
Thank you.
pleasure.
Of course, go Dodgers.
Yes, sir. Dodgers in 2.
Yes, sir.